They just can't stand the rain or the occasional pain from a man like me who goes against the grain. Sometimes I do it in vain. So with the little bass and treble, hey mister, it's time for me to explain that I'm the rap. Cold as the devil, straight from the...
Alright, what's going on, people? Today I want to talk about what I call the Obama dilemma. I'm going to try to keep this short. It's kind of hard because I easily go on rants, but let me try to keep this as short as possible. And every day, you know, when I do these videos, I kind of want to give a pretty interesting statistic, one or two statistics about African Americans. I find this very interesting. This person I follow on Twitter, Injustice Facts, and I'll link all that. But they say that African American males have a higher chance of being shot by police officers than becoming multimillionaires. I would even add on to that and say African Americans have a better chance of being shot by their own kind than becoming multimillionaires, which is the most ridiculous thing. And then I also want to respond to a Washington Times article, or excuse me, an opinion piece, which it should have been, about how since Obama's come into presidency, blacks have been overrepresented in government jobs. Okay, so basically what this guy is saying is that Obama's pushing this new radical affirmative action, la la la. Heard it all before. But let's get real. Let's talk about what really matters. Government jobs for black people, or how black people are represented in Congress. And if you look at it, black people, according to the 2000 census, black people made up 14% of the U.S. population. There are 9.5% of us in the House, and there is one black Senate member. Okay? One black Senate member. So who's really being under and overrepresented? End of that. But let me talk a little bit about my progress report for President Obama. I think that I don't think that, but I would give him a C, a mid C, a 75. You know, right in the middle. I think he's done a very well job in keeping us from falling over the edge. I don't think that he's standing up for what he believes in. I think he's trying to play the middleman too much, and I don't think that that's what a president should do. I think that if you feel for something, you should go for it. But I will explain a little bit of why he has to play that middle guy so often. But I think earlier he was for somewhat progressive ideas. But it's just, again, the fact that him being the first black president is going to be tough because, I mean, Republicans and liberals do the same thing. They spend. And he was spending not nearly as much as Bush had spent, or Democrats or Republicans before him. But, of course, him being the black president, everyone was saying that reparations were going to happen. Glenn Beck was saying that. Reparations and slavery and... yeah, oh my God, white people, it's just over for you guys. But, you know, Obama's in the system. He's in the system, and Washington is poisoned, so there's only so much he can do. But let me lay out the foundation of what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about how is it going to be when historians take a look back about this time period. They look back at this time period, how will they see how we reacted as a country to the first black president? And I don't think it's going to be good. I think there's some things that we should definitely be embarrassed about as Americans. But hey, that's me. That's my opinion. I'm embarrassed, and I didn't even make these remarks. And I'm embarrassed for the people who did make these remarks. It's just, it's sad. Honestly, 2011, for us to still be acting like this, I thought that we could get beyond it. But hey, who am I? For instance, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that people said about Obama. He's the first black president, of course, and so people think he's socialist. You know, he's getting called a socialist, a Marxist, la la la. People said that about Bush, so that's not too bad. But remember when America asked him for his birth certificate? That was actually a legitimate political stance, was to ask Obama for his birth certificate. Really? Really? Has any other president been asked for their birth certificate? Okay. So I wonder what that's about. Glenn Beck says that he hates white people. He wants to reinstate, he wants reparations. Unless we're talking about reparations for Wall Street and socialism and communism and welfare for Wall Street and in these large multinational corporations, like Cenk Uygur said of the Young Turks. Why are we paying oil companies tax-paying dollars, using our tax-paying dollars? Why are we paying these oil companies to produce oil? That's what they do. That's like going to McDonald's and giving them money to make burgers. That's their job, you know? Like, it's not a new industry or nothing like that. If we want to talk about welfare and socialism, that's it right there. But of course, we're not going to talk about that. Remember when Fox ratings were the highest they've ever been? What's the reason behind that? It's because they have a black president. So now their viewers who are xenophobic and who are bigots and who can't stand the sight of seeing someone different, this is perfect for them. So that you can hype it up. You got Glenn Beck, Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, the big three. It's perfect. So they can sit there and hate Obama all they want, but you know what? Obama is bringing them cash. He is putting money in the bank. So they want Obama. And remember when a congressman yelled out, "You lie"? First time this has been seen in recorded history. And first time there's been a black president. Coincidence? I think not. Remember when they said that the church was racist? Well, you know, maybe Reverend Wright shouldn't have said "goddamn America," knowing that the president was going to be at his church and more eyes were going to be on him. But you know what? He said what he had to say. And honestly, I think a lot of people have the same sentiment, is that if you go fuck around with other countries, whether this be right or wrong, what they did to us, and of course it was wrong, but what we do to other countries is wrong too. You know, two wrongs don't make a right. You know, so we should all stop it. And just like Ron Paul said, you know, the libertarian and the Republican, he said that, you know, we need to be honest with ourselves and look at what we're doing. You know, how would we feel if China came over and did the same thing that we're doing to the rest of the world? End of that. Remember when the Tea Party group came out? Remember when Sarah Palin came out? You know, this is what happens. This is what happens when you have a first black president, and they're going to be met. You know, it's like the simple laws of physics. You know, nature is all around us. So you have the first black president comes in. He's going to be met with some opposing forces. And Sarah Palin, the Tea Party, Glenn Beck, they all came about because of Obama. Tea Party wants to sit here and say that they've been around since Bush and la 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 la. Yeah, right. Bush was giving bailouts and the economy was falling down the tank and they were nowhere to be seen. So, and then these people are screaming, "I want my country back." Yet these people are not having as much hardships as blacks, Hispanics, minorities, and women in this recession, and especially black males who we're at the point where 50% of us, I'm going to keep repeating this, I don't even care, but 50% of us are unemployed. 50%, 1 out of every 2 black men are unemployed. But yet these Tea Party people are talking about, "I want my country back." From what? What do you want your country back from? You're doing fine. You want your country to be what it used to be, where black people were put in their place and they didn't step outside of the lines, you know? That's what you want. You want us to stay in our place. I don't agree with that, obviously. So yeah, that's what I feel about that. And also, last note, I want to also make a link in addition to, let's see, what was I talking about? Put a link to Injustice Facts, but I also want to put a link to the Alona show, what I was watching on her show the other night. I think his name is Mark Ames. But he was saying that, you know, Obama doesn't want to be that guy who really goes after the banks, because he really can't, because the system that we live in is built off fraud, corruption, and deceit, and basically people who cheat. You know, the whole system is built off of that. So if Obama really does go after the fraud, everybody knows Bank of America, these investment banks and all this stuff, you know, they were just dealing with fraud, dealing with toxic assets, trading those, and betting against people, betting against American economies, and betting against the housing market. So if Obama really does go after this, I think he's saying he will politically, but he won't, because he doesn't want to be that guy who brings down the whole system. You know, the first black president, too. He doesn't want to do that. And nobody wants to do that, whether you're white or black or whatever. Nobody wants to be the guy who takes that last card out and the whole house of cards comes falling down. So that's my opinion on that. That's my take. You can love it or hate it. You can leave a message or you can't. I really don't care. But thanks for listening.